and welcome to another book birthday. Today, I'm very excited to say congratulations to Jenny Gillan. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about my book.
Tell me about your book. Where did you get the idea from?
So, in terms of how it was written, it was at the start of lockdown, and my mum rang me, and she was in quite a bit of a state because she'd just been told by the doctor that she couldn't hug the grandkids or be with the grandkids. I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and we've just come out of some of the harshest lockdown situation that we've had, I think, worldwide. Mm-hmm. So it's really been about 6 months that we've been in fairly severe lockdown with a little hiatus in the middle. So Mum said, could you please write me a song? I'm a music teacher. Could you please write me a song that I'll be able to sing with the grandkids because I won't be able to hug them for a while? And for her, that was a really big thing. So the song basically just wrote itself, and I got home and I rang Mum and sang it to her, and it kind of went from there. It was picked up by the kindness pandemic. It kind of went viral in a bit of a way. So we had an interview done by SBS and a little version of it done on the ABC, which is the Australian Broadcasting Corporation for International People. And I always wanted right from the beginning to be able to make it into a book so that Mum could read it to her grandkids. And so that's kind of how it all started. And we've had many, many tough moments during this lockdown period where we felt really, really separated. But in the song, I just suggest that you hold yourself real tight and pretend that my arms are your arms, basically, and that I'm giving you a hug. And given that we've been doing a lot of communication through Zoom and from a distance, that has been one thing that's helped keep us connected. So I think one of the most beautiful points was when Mum got to read the story to Lewis, her youngest grandchild, my nephew, over Zoom, and just sat there and read the story to him. So it's been a really special way for us all to connect during this time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm just so in awe of creative people like you who have taken adversity and just made something beautiful out of it. So congratulations. That's just amazing. So tell me about the process from changing a song into a book. How did that happen?
Well, I think because it was something I always wanted for Mum to be able to hold and to show and to share with the grandkids, it was always in the back of my mind that this would make it possible to share it in that sort of way. So I'm really lucky that my husband is a graphic designer, and it was funny in the whole process. You kind of learn a lot as you go along. We found an illustrator, Nick Talbert, who I think did a lovely job and had the right sort of style that I was looking for, but I didn't realize how much was involved in expressing an idea that I had, getting him to draw what I had in my head, and how the differences between a perception in terms of what I saw and what he came up with sometimes is very different. Yes. So it was a real lesson in being really specific in your directions. The other thing was, initially I wrote a second verse which related to when the housing commissions got shut down. There was a breakout of COVID in the housing commission flats, which are these massive flats that have thousands of people, and they all got shut down. So I wanted to express some of the feelings around that and tried to look at it from that distance. And Nick was very wise and actually said, this is a children's book. It needs to actually be expressed from their level. So don't change focus. So I wanted, the opening line of the song is, "The world is big and scary, but I love you very much." So I wanted an image that expressed the fear of the time, and initially I wanted that to be a view from the housing commission flats down and seeing the police and seeing the ambulances and seeing what was happening in terms of that. But we needed an image that was more intimate. So the image that we ended up with was actually the sign in the playground across from us, which was one of those red signs which basically said this playground is closed due to the COVID restrictions. So that was an image that was an expression of this big thing that was happening, but very much on a child's level.
Yes.
And not changing focus from out there to back. So that was a learning process too. And of course, having Tony as a designer, I didn't realize that once you had the illustrations, you actually also needed someone to put the book together and have the text and everything. So it was a lot bigger project than I thought, but yeah, it's good to be the end of it.
Amazing. And I love that you learnt things yourself along the way. Like, it's been such an amazing learning process for you, like not only everything that's going on and having to deal with the restrictions and learning what kind of how you function, but then creatively, how do you learn and keep being that lifelong learner? So that's amazing. Do you have a copy of the book with you?
I do have a copy of the book.
Can you show us that page that you were talking about?
Sure. So that's it there, Oma and Opa's song.
Yay.
And this is the image.
Oh.
So there's me, and Lewis is the little blondie, and then there's my two boys there as well, Ollie and Jara. And there's the playground. So
beautiful. And do you have a favourite picture from the book?
A favourite picture from the book? I think I like the hug. So this one here. So this is all the computer screens. So sharing the hug there, and then Oma sharing the hug back.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and I also love how he's drawn my mum, because it's very true to her. People who see this book, they just go, "Oh, yeah, that's Glennis." So
that's so cool. She's a bit famous now.
Yeah, she's a bit famous anyway amongst the music community, because I'm a music teacher and have presented at conferences, and she's often is an administrator of that. So I presented and showed my book to a conference in Perth, and everyone was like, "Oh, Glennis, we know Glennis." So.
Oh, that's great. That's so good. So it's a beautiful legacy as well for you to leave for your kids and your mum. That's just... There's so many things to love about this book. What for you, though, was your favourite part about it? What's the best thing about this book?
I think the chances that I see and the times that I see that people are singing it to their kids. And that was the thing when I wrote the song. I also was sent a lot of different people's versions of it. And I had some from the UK and from America and from Spain and, various other, Germany, a girl who actually sang it in German. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I think the fact that having a book like that gives many little chances for a connection between people. And that's something I'm never going to see. I will only see a smidgen of what that does. I see it when my mum sings it to my sons or to Lewis, but there are a lot of little moments like that will happen around the world, and
you won't even see.
Yeah, I won't see them, but I'll connect.
Yeah,
I'll be part of that connection.
So what do you think is the best part about what you do now that you are a published author and you've already been so successful with your singing?
Well, I think I just keep doing what I'm doing. So for me, my main thing is just being a music teacher. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of resources, and I've actually published textbooks before that are used with the VCE, so for our year 11 and 12, and called Listening Beyond Hearing. So that's a big part of what I am, and music analysis is a big part of what I am. But I also wrote a song for my year 12s as they were graduating. So I think for me, singing and music is just a natural part of life. And that was one of the things that was hardest about the new restrictions. We're back at school now, but you're not actually allowed to sing.
No.
Yeah, so for me teaching, and it's really bizarre how
Mm.
many times a song is about to spontaneously erupt and I have to stop myself. The first
Oh,
week that we actually went back and I had to teach musicianship without singing, I think a part of my soul died that day. It was
mm,
great to see the kids, but to actually have them just doing hand signs without sound
mm.
was just a little heartbreaking. So it's really lovely now. We can actually, the restrictions are easing. So we had a Bach chorale which was hummed, which had a really unearthly sound, and we're doing what we
Wow.
can do. But yeah, I just miss having spontaneous singing in the corridors because my school's a very musical school. It's a Victorian College of the Arts secondary school, so it is. You're in by audition, so they're all musical kids or dancers or things. But I work with the musicians, and singing and hearing spontaneous singing through the halls is just part of life. So
Oh,
not to have that is really, really, really difficult. And we're working really hard with the government to try and make sure that music isn't left behind, because you're allowed to head tackle, someone in inter-school sport,
yeah.
but with, God forbid you blow a trumpet. So
Yes. Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? It's just so crazy. And if people want to find out a little bit more about the song that goes with the book, or get a copy of the book, or even contact you and find out a little bit more about what you do, or if you're able to, collab with them on something, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
well, my website is called Listening Beyond Hearing. And that comes from a quote from a student who I had taught analysis to, and they said they were no longer able to just have music wash over them. They just had to listen. Now they're compelled to listen. So the book is, my initial book was Listening Beyond Hearing, and that's the name of the website too. So it's available on the shop there, and you can also see there are articles there that have links to the interview that we did with SBS and the song that we did with the ABC, as well as you can download for free or by donation a backing track. And you can also donate. You can also download the song and the sheet music too. I've got a piano score and one with chords, so you can do your own version of it. And I love that people have been sharing it with their own schools. And some teachers have sent me little videos or audio of their schools doing it together. So yeah.
Great. So great. And I'll put all those details in the comments. So if you do want to get in contact with Jenny, all of the details will be there, and make a donation and download that song. But I think for me this year, you've really been one of the people, I think, who have been the phoenix and really been an inspiration to so many creative people around, and I see how that you have just been through such a traumatic time, not only just being in lockdown, but who you are as a person has been squished and restricted. And I think that's happened to a lot of people in the arts this year, and to see you be able to be the phoenix that rises out of the ashes, and not only that, but to help people and to consider making the community a better place. I am just absolutely in awe of everything that you've done this year, and I just want to thank you on behalf of everybody who has listened to your song, and give you a big virtual hug. So hug yourself now, because I'm hugging you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This year has just been, one of the hardest years I've ever lived through, and also teaching on Zoom or on Google Meets while having my own two kids.
Yes, I know.
And supervising them, like that's just a whole other thing. Yeah, so it's been a big year. So it's good to have something to come out of it that will last. So
absolutely, such a beautiful legacy. Such a beautiful legacy. So thank you again so much for sharing that book with us, and allowing us to celebrate your book birthday. And we look forward to seeing what else comes out, and maybe we can meet up for another book birthday.
That would be awesome. Could I sing it before we go?
Oh, please do.
Okay. The world is big and scary, but I love you very much. The world is really crazy, so for now we cannot touch. But love is bigger than the mess and wider than the sky. I'll love you now forever and beyond the day I die. So hold yourself real tight and I will hug myself back too. There'll always be a place for you no matter what you do. So hug yourself real tight and I will hug myself back too. I'll pretend my arms are yours and know that I love you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. That's beautiful. And I can't wait to see you for another book birthday.
Thanks, Michelle. Bye.
Bye.